So this might just be the DC project everyone's been quietly waiting for. HBO's Lanterns. Yeah, after years of fake starts, reboots, rewrites, and that haunting memory of the 2011 Green Lantern movie, DC is finally ready to bring the Lantern Corps back to life. And this time, it's shaping up to be something completely different. From what we're hearing, this isn't your typical superhero show. Lanterns might just be the most grounded, ambitious, and story-driven project James Gunn's new DCU has in the works right now. Let's dive into what we know. The story, the cast, the tone, and why this could secretly be the key piece holding the next phase of the DC Universe together. After sitting in development limbo for what feels like forever, Lanterns has finally wrapped production. Aaron Pierre, who's taking on the legendary role of John Stewart, confirmed it himself during an interview with Esquire. And his reaction? Pure excitement. Pierre described the whole thing as an enormous shoot, grand in every sense of the word. He said it's been a long time coming for fans, and that he hopes with all his heart that they make everybody proud of what they've created. That's a confident statement, but also a risky one, because this isn't just another show. Lanterns is the first major DCU series under James Gunn and Peter Safran's new vision. This means it's setting the tone for everything that follows. If this fails, it's not just a small stumble. It could shake fan confidence in the entire new DCU slate. So yeah, no pressure, right? Now let's talk story, because this is where things get really interesting. Unlike the typical superhero formula, Lanterns isn't going full space opera. It's taking a darker, grittier route, more like True Detective than Guardians of the Galaxy. The show follows two of the most iconic Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan. Pierre plays John, the younger, idealistic soldier with strong moral roots. And Hal? He's being played by Kyle Chandler, who's stepping into the boots of the veteran Lantern. Older, wiser, maybe a little jaded, nearing retirement. Together, they're assigned to investigate a mysterious murder in rural Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska. Not Oa, not deep space, Earth. But here's where it gets wild. What starts out as a simple investigation spirals into a dark mystery that could unravel secrets about Earth, the Green Lantern Corps, and even the wider universe itself. HBO describes it as two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery. And honestly, that pitch alone sounds like a perfect mix of cosmic power and grounded storytelling. Exactly the balance DC's been struggling to find. Pierre also touched on what makes his version of the Green Lantern so unique. And it's not the rings or the constructs, it's the humanity. In his own words, they're heroes, yes, but they embrace their flaws in a way that's beautiful, that makes them extremely relatable. That's an interesting take, because for years, Green Lanterns have been portrayed as almost untouchable cosmic warriors. Here, it sounds like we're getting a closer look at the people behind the rings, the doubts, fears, and emotions that define what it actually means to channel willpower. Pierre even joked that watching the show might make fans feel like they could apply to the Green Lantern Corps themselves. And that's the kind of relatability that DCU's been missing. Heroes that feel like us even when they're flying through space. Now let's talk about this cast, because Lanterns didn't hold back. Alongside Pierre and Chandler, we've got Kelly MacDonald, Garrett Dillahunt, Poorna Jagannathan, Ulrich Thompson, Jasmine Cephas Jones, Sherman Augustus, J. Alphonse Nicholson, Jason Ritter, Nathan Fillion, Chris Coy, and Paul Ben Victor. Yeah, that's a stacked lineup. But the name that's getting the most buzz is Ulrich Thompson as Sinestro. Yes, the Sinestro. But here's the twist. He's not the villain we know yet. Reports suggest this version of Sinestro is still a respected Green Lantern long before his fall from grace. That could be huge, because it sets the stage for a slow burn transformation. Maybe not in this show, but later in the DCU. And that's not all. Nathan Fillion is back as Guy Gardner, the same Guy Gardner we saw in Gunn's Superman. That's our confirmation right there. Lanterns isn't just some side project. It's fully connected to the DCU main timeline. That's a big deal, because it means whatever happens here could have direct consequences for the movies. Originally, Lanterns was planned as an HBO Max exclusive, but that changed in June 2024 when HBO itself, not just a streaming side, picked it up as a full HBO original series. That's an upgrade. 8 episodes, big budget treatment, and HBO's signature production quality. Think about that. HBO doesn't just put its name on anything. Shows like Chernobyl and True Detective are the gold standard for storytelling and atmosphere. So for Lanterns to carry that same brand, it tells you how seriously they're taking this. But that also raises the stakes. HBO level quality means expectations are high sky. And let's be honest, DC's TV track record has been hit or miss. So the question becomes, can Lanterns actually meet that HBO prestige standard? Or will it struggle under the weight of its own ambition? That's where the skepticism kicks in. Everyone's asking the same thing. When do we get the first trailer? Well, DC Studios co-head James Gunn recently admitted in an interview that he's already seen a sneak peek of Lanterns. His words were, "I've seen the peek, but I have no clue when that's planned to be shown. With HBO, the marketing is so different than film." Translation, the footage exists, but HBO's handling the rollout. And that actually makes sense. HBO doesn't rush marketing. They like to build anticipation, slow, calculated, and close to release. So don't expect random teaser drops just yet, but if the schedule lines up, we could see our first look sometime in 2025. Maybe Comic-Con, maybe DC Fandom. And honestly, that might be the smarter move. Let the hype simmer, because if the first trailer delivers even half of what's being promised, it's gonna break the internet. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does Lanterns matter this much? Well, James Gunn's DCU Chapter One is called Gods and Monsters. It's the foundation for an entirely new universe, one that connects film, TV, and animation under a single continuity. So far, we've got Superman in 2025, The Authority on the way, and The Brave and the Bold setting up Batman's new era. But Lanterns, that's where the cosmic side begins. This show bridges Earth with the wider universe, a chance to explore alien politics, moral corruption inside the core, and even interplanetary conflicts that could tie directly into the next wave of DCU films. Gunn and Cypern have even called Lanterns a terrestrial backbone of the DCU, meaning what happens here could shape everything that comes next. If it hits, it could be the show that finally gets DC's world building right. Now, let's keep it real. This all sounds amazing, but DC fans have been burned before. How many times have we heard words like gritty, ambitious, and grounded thrown around only for the end result to fall short? The Green Lantern name itself still carries some baggage after the 2011 movie, so the pressure to redeem that brand is real. Lanterns needs to pull off a miracle, balance the human story, deliver cinematic visuals, and honor comic book lore, all while staying grounded. That's a huge creative challenge, but here's why there's still hope. The creative team, Chris Mundy from True Detective, Damon Lindell from Watchmen, and Tom King, who's written some of DC's best recent stories, they're all involved. That lineup alone gives this project credibility. So yeah, skepticism is fair, but cautious optimism, totally justified. No matter how you slice it, Lanterns is the biggest spotlight the Green Lantern mythos has had in over a decade. For the first time, we're seeing John Stewart take the lead in live action, something fans have wanted for years. He's not just another hero, he's disciplined, morally centered, and the emotional anchor of the core. And if Aaron Pierre nails that role the way fans hope he will, it could redefine how mainstream audiences see the Green Lantern legacy. And his dynamic with Hal Jordan, that older mentor vibe, could be one of the best partnerships DC has ever put on screen. If the chemistry clicks, this duo could carry the entire show. So when can we actually see Lanterns? Right now, it's locked for a 2026 HBO premiere. No specific month yet, but given the scale and post-production time HBO usually takes, mid to late 2026 sounds most realistic. That timeline would slot Lanterns perfectly between Superman of 2025 and the next wave of DCU titles, meaning it could be the connective tissue between Earth-based heroes and the cosmic frontier. At the end of the day, Lanterns feels like a make-or-break project. It's DC's chance to prove they can tell a story that's cinematic, emotional, and character-driven without losing the fun and scale of superheroes. It's also a test for HBO, for James Gunn, and for fans to see if the DCU can truly deliver something that feels fresh and unified. If it works, Lanterns could become the gold standard for superhero television, the show that finally does justice to the Green Lantern Corps. But if it stumbles, it'll be a harsh reminder that not every reboot finds its light. So what do you guys think? Will Lanterns live up to the hype and finally redeem the Green Lantern name? Or will it struggle under those massive expectations? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe to Movie Sentry for more movie updates and breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.